Hey there, how's it going? It's Miguel. Today we are here pretty much outside the airport in the city I live in. And when I first got better, after being bedridden, after I got out of the hospital and I was able to move around again, this is one of the first places I came to because it kind of symbolizes that freedom of movement, that connection to the world. From here, you can travel anywhere to Japan, Asia, anywhere you want. After being bedridden and confined to a space for so long, it was just refreshing coming to a place like this. Pretty much a place of endless possibilities. So today I want to talk about something that I'm sure crosses your mind all the time, but it's how do I stop overthinking? But essentially it's, how do you stop overthinking, especially when you have plenty of time to think, when you're stuck in a bed all day? I mean, like, what else is there to do other than think about the past or think about the future and think about all the possibilities of things that could or could not happen, that might happen, that already happened? Your mind just starts to go crazy, especially when you're stuck in a bed all day or you're stuck in a house all day. So today I want to talk about that. Now, I want to reference this book that I read. This was when I was sick many, many years before I reached the height of my illness, many years before I was completely bedridden. It's a book called No Easy Days by Mark Owens. I believe his name is Mark Owens, but he was a Navy SEAL. And the analogy they used was stay in your 3-foot world. And what that means is don't worry about anything that's happening over there, over here. Just worry about what's happening in your vicinity. And it's so transferable to life. The analogy that he used was when they used to do training in Las Vegas. I believe it was Las Vegas, but they would take all the Navy SEALs out to this cliff and they would have them try mountain climbing and rock climbing. And a lot of these Navy SEALs, they were afraid of heights. A lot of them weren't. But what they found was once they reached the middle of that cliff, and they looked down, that's when they started to freak out. That's when they couldn't think straight. That's when the fear and panic started kicking in. It's only when they looked down what was below them or looked up how much further there was to go, or look out onto the canyon, which looked like, it's like basically one slip and you could die. And so what they would focus on is their 3-foot world. And it's really similar to life. When you're thinking about the past, when you're looking back at the past, that's when you're dwelling over the past, that's regret. When you're thinking about the future, thinking about what could happen, what might happen, that is worry. So you don't want regret or worry. You want to stay in your vicinity, whether that's space or time. So me, when I was recovering, a lot of the times, when I caught myself overthinking and worrying, what I would do is, okay, I'm in this room. I'm not going to think about anything outside this room. Within these 4 walls, that's my world right now. Anything that happened yesterday or anything that's going to happen tomorrow, that's not my concern. I'm just going to focus on right here, right now, in this space, in this time. And it helped so much. And even to this day, it helps me a lot when I run my video business, which I run today. I'm not worried about problems that might happen in 2 days, 3 days, 3 months, 3 years. I'm thinking about what do I need to do now. I'm not thinking about the past of mistakes I've made, things that went wrong, because that serves me no purpose. So once you start becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings and your worries, just remind yourself to stay in your 3-foot world. And that's just, when I tell that to myself, it's like, boom, instantly, I know I'm just like focusing on what's around me right now. I'm not focusing on what's down the road or what's in the past. That's huge. And it's a lot harder said than done. And I know, like, when you're overthinking and the ball starts rolling, it's so hard to stop that ball. It's like if you take a small snowball, roll it down a hill, just naturally with gravity, it's gonna continue to grow bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it's like you can no longer control it. You can no longer control it. So the trick is actually to catch yourself starting to overthink before it gets really bad, before it spirals out of control. If you look at my other video where I talk about the science behind my recovery, I always reference that. But when I talk about anxiety turning into panic, I talk about that velocity threshold. Think about it like a snowball. You roll that snowball down the hill. It can start very small, but as it picks up speed, it picks up momentum and mass, it just exponentially increases. And the same thing with thoughts and worries. You overthink one thing, turns to 2 things and 4 things, 16, whatever 16 by 16 is. But you get the point. But you get the point. Like, it just spirals out of control very quickly. So the trick is to catch yourself in the beginning. So, if you're bedridden right now, if I think back to something that I used to overthink a lot, was I would try to Google all my symptoms. And guess what? You Google a symptom, next thing you know, it's like your face is gonna fall off, or you're just gonna explode and die, right? Like, Google mosquito bite right now on Google Images is gonna show you literally the worst mosquito bite ever. So that's one thing I experienced when I was sick. You have nothing to do all day. You're looking for answers. So you're Googling everything that could possibly be wrong with you. At one point I was 110% convinced I had Parkinson's because I couldn't stop shaking. Like, literally, I would try to sit there and relax. I would just start trembling and shaking like crazy. So that's one of those instances where I was overthinking things and kind of jumped to conclusions too early. I was also convinced at one point that I had severe adrenal fatigue, that I had like Cushing's disease, which is when your adrenal glands, they are unable to produce adrenaline, which, I was showing all those symptoms as well. In other instance, I was 110% convinced I had Lyme's because I was showing all those symptoms. Another instance, I was convinced I had mold poisoning. I was just searching for answers. It's not that I was looking for negativity. I was just looking for an answer to my problems, but it made me overthink. So if you're in the situation right now where you're stuck at home and you're completely bedridden, nothing's working, you're not getting better, I would say, step one, get as many tests as you can to cross everything off the list. Make sure you don't have adrenal issues, Lyme's issues, like any weird viruses, things like that, CAT scans, CT scans, x-rays, everything. Test your kidneys, test your livers, do all the blood tests. But once you cross all of that off your list, then really, you can have confidence that, the problem is probably in your mind. It's probably your thoughts leading to somatic symptoms. And somatic symptoms doesn't mean what you're feeling is not real, because it's very real. I experienced it. Because really, at the end of the day, what is pain, right? Pain is something that happens in your brain. A lot of the times you'll feel the things in your body, your heart will skip, you'll feel like you're having a heart attack. But guess what? Your heart's completely fine. Your kidneys are completely fine. Your adrenals are fine. And then your brain really is the issue. But that's all I want to touch on today for overthinking. Operate in your 3-foot world. Don't worry about the past, because that's regret. Don't worry about the future, because that's worry. Those things serve you no purpose at all. Just focus on the present, focus on the now, and learn to be grateful for now, today, where you are right now. And that is what's going to help you get out of that state of constant worry and fear, because that is not a place you want to be stuck in. Worry, fear, and anxiety is a place that serves you a purpose, a survival purpose. It's actually good to have those things. Back then, when you're out in the wild, you want to be cautious of like a lion or a tiger jumping out and killing you. So you need to be prepared. You need to have that adrenaline ready to go, that fight or flight response just ready to go like that. But when it's constantly on, that's a whole different story. And that's where we need to retrain the brain. Go read the book, The Brain's Way of Healing by Norman Doidge, and you'll learn a lot about that. So I'll link them in the description below. The book To No Easy Days by Mark Owens, which is a really great book. I highly recommend it. You can even listen to the audiobook. I think there's probably some podcasts online as well as The Brain's Way of Healing, because that's a book I recommend to everybody. So if you found this content helpful, just hit that like button, comment down below what other videos you want me to create, because I do enjoy creating these videos for you guys. I see it's helping a lot of people. And at the end of the day, that's what these videos are for. It's really just getting my thoughts and my experiences, what I've been through, having gone from being super bedridden to, completely fully recovered and actually even better than I was before I got sick, and bringing that knowledge out to you guys in hopes that it might help you. And that's really the whole point of it. So I'll see you guys next time. Comment down below. I'm going to try to post 2 to 3 times a week with these kinds of videos. It seems you guys are really enjoying them and finding a lot of value in them. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.